Good afternoon. So Richard Penska from North Somerset, which is obviously not in the north at all. It's south of Bristol, and my job title is Head of Support Services Partnership, which of course means nothing to any of you. So I'm just doing a little data illustration here. So I have other job titles. So I'm also a non-exec director of a Bristol Housing Society. I'm a parent governor at a school for for emotional and behavioural needs. And my most important job is I'm a local authority foster carer, which of course is a job share, and I don't do much of that job. But the point I'm trying to make is, with a little bit of data you can arrive at one impression. With more data, better information, you can arrive at different places, and that's really important for us in local government. So I would agree with much that's been said today. So for North Somerset, that better data has become really important for making sure our council tax base is accurate and we're maximising our income for the and I would reiterate things that Deborah said about using capacity grid and actually accessing external data sets that the council doesn't have access to or would have if it's shared with its neighbours. So that's really important for us. Or equally with business rates, we want to be assured that our business rate base is correct, and we do quite a lot of inspection work ourselves in doing that. But again, looking at extra data to see who's trading that we haven't got on our books gives us an extra yield and increases our confidence about how accurate our base is, which is really important to make sure that we can generate as much income as we can out of the assets we've got. And as far as fraud and error is concerned, we have a very limited budget for fraud and error in housing benefit and on council tax support schemes. So actually we do need a very targeted approach through data to ensure that we are hitting the right customers. So for instance, we've got about 16,000 customers who are on housing benefit or council tax support. We can't look at all of those cases, but by using data we can look at 500, and we can look at those really closely. And we have a strike rate of around 30% where we find error. Now that error sometimes is underpayment, but a lot of it is overpayment. Now that gives us about 200,000 extra per annum, which of course hits us in two ways. One, it reduces our spend in our council tax support scheme, which is already tight, but also gives us money to collect, so we have an overpayment that we can go and collect. And of course, in our data we want to look at intelligent ways to make sure that we're looking at people that have got extra income, people that have got undisclosed capital. So we're actually looking for people where we can recover monies from, because the last thing you've mentioned universal credit, the last thing local authorities want is benefit overpayments sitting on their balance sheet post universal credit. So we have to be quite sharp about how we work in that way. And I guess all of that, if you like, that way of working gives us a bit of a backstop position about how we have to work in the future, which for us is a very risk-based way. So in benefits, for those that are familiar with benefits, we'll do something which is called risk-based verification, which means we won't look for evidence for people's circumstances for every customer. We will target that attention to certain groups, and that's how we will operate. So we have a very light touch assessment, and as a council we will now have to move into social care on that approach. So we will no longer have the resources to forensically go through particularly the finances of people that require care, and we will have to take a much more light touch assessment. That creates risk, it increases risk appetite. Part of the backstop for that is using data in a smart way, post an assessment process, just to check and checks and balances to make sure that we understand how that works. And I guess the final point I'd make, because I know we're short of time, which probably you haven't really touched about, and it's back to my illustration. So if you just had my job title and you had worked out what it was, you may have thought about, oh, well, he might read that certain paper, his politics might be this or that or the other. But actually with the rounded picture or better information, you might think about propensity to do this, propensity to do that. And for the council, it's really important that we can understand people's propensity to channel shift, people's propensity to volunteer. It's very important for us in North Somerset around foster caring. We have a lot of expensive foster caring that's put out with the independent sector, which costs us a lot more money than if we can recruit local authority foster carers. We have no mechanism at the moment for working out the population, their propensity, what sector of the population has propensity to foster care, and that really is important for volunteering as well. So these are our direction of travel, but we need to, if you like, enrich our data sources to ensure that we can recruit and get assistance from the community in a better way.
Right.